as we wind down on the year, I'd like to give a shout out to such an awesome fall season that we've had. It's a season that has no shortage of drama and action, and as we start looking at the season in retrospect, I'd love to share some of my favorite fights from the season. So I hate to keep you waiting, let's jump in and enjoy some of the best anime battles fall 2021 had to offer.
別に捨てろとは言ってないわ。角度を見ていただけだもの。一番叩き込みやすいあなたの体の角度を。
We start with Jolene and Jotaro versus John Gallier. For long-time JoJo fans, this is one of the more anticipated fights in Stone Ocean. After a long absence from direct action, Jotaro is finally back and he's on a mission. Unfortunately, his and Jolene's escape attempt ends up being a trap set by John Gallier, hence we get this fight. It's pretty much what you'd expect from a JoJo fight with all the insane powers, but with the added emotional investment of a fractured family coming together to fight. Among the fights in Stone Ocean so far, I find this quite cool in a way because it also feels like some torch-passing ceremony in the form of a fight. Granted, Jotaro didn't die, but the fight feels like him finally passing the reins to his daughter. Now, I don't want to spoil his fate after this, but this fight is the perfect setup for that crowning moment. David Production did this fight justice, and I'm so glad they pulled it off. The good news, we're just getting started. Part 6 is full of these wild fights that I can't wait to see animated. It's going to be so hype when we get there. I'd say one of the most personally impactful fights this season had to come from Tact of Destiny. Yep, I'm talking about Lenny and Titan's last stand. Tact of Destiny has been one of the surprise bangers this season, and it's due to fights like this. We're used to seeing some wide-scale destruction from the show, but how about this last fight that Lenny and Titan had together? It's just fast-paced insanity, and that's to be expected considering the guys behind Tact of Destiny. The action's furious, the moments are tense, but those are barely the main reasons why I find this fight so good. What I like the most about the fight is the consequences of it, both in-universe and to us viewers who had to lay witness to such an emotional moment. Yeah, I know the fight had death flags plastered all over it, but has that ever diminished the impact of a fight like this for you? I mean, personally speaking, not much. The fight may have been Lenny's swan song, but he'll always be remembered. Such a great supporting character that gave off a comforting aura. This has been an emotional end to his tale, and the feels came from a show that I didn't expect them to come from. Now, given the premise of the show, it's obvious that we'll be getting at least one awesome strategic fight from Platinum End. Battle Royale anime with supernatural beings has always been a recipe for some cool combat, and for Platinum End, it holds up its side of the bargain. This is a fight that featured quite a hefty use of CG. Now, that doesn't make it any less good, as it still got my heart pounding with how fast everything moved. It's quite hard to follow the actual action, but that only adds to the moment. With how wildly the camera angles were, you can really feel the intensity of this showdown. Platinum End prides itself on its premise of pitting worldviews against each other. Both sides have different viewpoints on killing people, and that puts some added stakes in this already nice fight. Now, while I won't say that Platinum End is a candidate for anime of the season, it's got some very intriguing themes alongside the deeply passionate fights. One Piece stays strong with this next fight, Luffy and X-Drake versus Numbers. I really like how One Piece is so seamlessly adapted to modern anime techniques. It's not a show with fights as mind-blowing as Ufotable or Mappa ones, but they are still damn good. We've had that Zoro moment not too long ago, and now we have this. Let's just say that this post-Wano animation for the series has been insane. The fight itself is simple, to be honest. It's Luffy showing how strong he's becoming by destroying opponents bigger than he is. Still, let's appreciate the effort that got put into it. You can really feel the impact of each earth-shattering attack, the way the whole thing gets presented, and it caps off with a key moment of Drake asking to join Luffy's alliance. Now, if a simple fight like this got this amount of care from the anime team, imagine the latter fights down the line. Damn, I'm so excited just thinking about them. If you've been watching my videos, you know that I've said a lot of good stuff about Dragon Quest. It's quite the niche anime, but I really like the nostalgic feel it gives me. It's also got some nifty fights that 90s shonen fans would like. Well, what do you know? Dragon Quest does it again. Most notable in the fight is how Dai just parries every explosive like it's nothing. Not quite Ichigo slashing away Senbon Zakura level, but it's still cool seeing the scene in anime form. The fight's quite standard, but I think it's the voice acting and then the camera angles that make this fight so good. Simply beautiful work in presenting this fight. It's very impactful and attention attention grabbing, and that finishing blow is just a thing of beauty. It's as shonen as it can be, and fans of the genre will definitely love this fight. Now, let's take a break then, shall we? Do you know what makes video creators happy? Subscriptions. So if you haven't done so yet, please make sure to hit that subscribe button and get those numbers up. 1 million subs somewhere in the middle of next year is the goal. Come on, let's do it together. Dorsey versus Hounds deserves a special mention. I'm not gonna lie here, I almost overlooked Ranking of Kings. At the start, the simplistic art didn't appeal too much, and the premise didn't seem that interesting to me, to be honest. But to my surprise, it ended up being one of the best anime this season, as I said in a previous video that you can check out. Another surprise came in the form of a fight that I didn't see coming. Dorsey fighting Beast may not seem too impressive in terms of its premise, but I'll just let the actual anime clip do most of the talking. I mean, just look at the level of detail there. This is truly some impressive battle animation, and you got to give props to the studio for making the fight so beautiful. I mean, what am I saying? It's wit we're talking about here. Ranking of Kings may not be some battle anime where hype fights abound, but when it comes to confrontations like this, the show doesn't disappoint thanks to the level of detail and the stakes that you can feel. Bucky's always prided itself on those insane fights that show off the grittiness and the violence that people have loved martial arts anime for. Bucky continues to impress in its latest season with this battle that pits our main character against Oliver. Now this fight has what we've always loved about Bucky, the sheer, unadulterated, over-the-top violence and intensity that comes with every battle. The insanity is just off the charts with this battle, and both fighters do their share of flexing on the others in a show of power. This is the fight where you can truly feel the pressure and impact with each blow connecting, and that kind of presentation really adds to the fight. If you're up for some good old smash-mouth fighting featuring monsters of men, this could be a good entry point for getting you to start watching Bucky. We never got a Choji versus Sasuke fight in the original series, but here we are. Lots of good things can be said in this showdown between best friends. Sarada and Chocho duking it out already had some emotional investment behind it, but the actual fight is as cool as it gets. Blitzing hand-to-hand face-offs and the unleashing of some old favorites makes this great fan service for old-time fans. On a side note, you can already see some of the Uchiha ruthlessness seeping through in this fight. Even if she's fighting her friend, she'll be a powerhouse when she's older, but only time will tell how destructive that power can be. Remember Kakashi's quote about Chidori? Yeah, considering she attempted the move on her friend, I'd say there's room for interesting developments ahead. I honestly didn't expect the second season of Demon Slayer to recap Mugen Train in its first episodes, but the moment that announcement was made, one thing became clear. Those of us who never saw the movie in theaters would get the chance to see one of the most hyped fights of the past year in Rengoku vs Akaza, and knowing Ufotable, you know they're already going to do a damn good job on it. And let's just say, I was simply blown away at how the fight translated into the anime format. It's got a lot of the stuff we've come to love from Demon Slayer fights, like the special effects, the awesome animation, and the intense music and voice acting. You know, it's been a long time coming. Mushoku Tensei has had some good fights, but I think that every major isekai needs to have that big fight. The one with a lot of oomph that people will always remember. Enter Dragon God Orsted. The battle wastes no time getting to the good part, kicking off with an intense barrage that's all sorts of awesome. If you've still got doubts on how much care is given to animating Mushoku Tensei, this fight should erase the last of those doubts. The others then get involved in the fight, but Orsted disposes of them all without breaking a sweat. Overall, the build-up of the tension, the sound direction, and the post-fight repercussions make this battle so awesome. It's a squash match that looks so unexpectedly cool, but I personally felt bad for how badly Dead End got destroyed. I won't say I cried at the scene, but seeing the defeated Dead End gave me some of the strongest emotions I've felt this season. So that's my list, but what about yours? Are there any other fights that you really enjoyed from the fall season? Come share with everyone on the comments section. If you can't get enough of these lists and want more, check out the rest of my channel. I've got seasonal stuff, decade stuff, or just lists that talk about certain moments like villains showing their power and flexing on the heroes, or the times heroes get betrayed and come back stronger. You can support the channel through both my Patreon and channel memberships. The links are down below. You might also want to drop by and give my Instagram a follow so that you'll get the latest news and know what's going on both in the world of anime and this channel. I had fun making this video, and I hope you had a good time watching it. I hope to see you again for the next video, and I wish you a great day.